Chadd was behind me the whole run, too.
How's everybody's volume? Because I know somebody's come in here and turn these knobs.
Somebody.
It's the ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Well,
I'm a little low. You got to keep it low for me, though.
welcome back to the 307 podcast. What's on y'all's mind today?
Well, let me start it out with this. I talked with my buddy, my brother, Tom Wright. He called me yesterday, and he said, Blake, I just got to let you know, I got this cartoon in my head of this old bull, real skinny, with a ring in its nose. And he said, there's a farmer leading him around by that ring, and there's a dog running around yipping at everybody's ankles. He said, that old bull is Chadd, and you're the farmer in Chile is the dog. And he said, I know when Chadd said he's pushing the cart, he said, that's probably right, because I've done some farming in my days, and you always put your weak animals at the back because they ain't going to do much anyways. He said, most of the time you end up dragging that thing that thinks it's pushing the cart, and you put your strong animals up front to actually do some pulling.
Did Tom really say that?
That's what he said.
What the heck, Tom?
Well, he thinks I'm just a yipping dog.
Well, y'all don't ever take no time to talk to him. He knows who cares about him. I answer Tom when he calls me.
He don't call me.
I'm going to give him your number.
Dude.
Well, please do. He don't call me.
All right, I'm going to send it to him.
Phone works both ways, Tom.
You know, everybody on Earth should have my phone number by now. Blake blasted it out on Instagram about 2 days ago.
Wait till I do Chili's.
No, don't do that. I'll change my number.
You'll have so many darn women messaging you.
No.
If we were to put your number out. You know how them mega stars put their number on their Instagram bio and they say, text me, and I'll get back with you.
No, I wouldn't. I don't
set you up a number like that.
I'm not worried about anybody texting me or trying to call me, but I don't want nobody to have it, so I'd change it.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be straight up with everybody that listens to this. I don't answer my phone. Unless there's an urgent need that needs to be communicated in terms of life and death or some urgent business matter or...
How do you know?
But, well, it would have to come through me through a text, right? So there's a few people that I answer my phone for, okay? Blake, Chile, PN, and my wife. Really, I don't know. I don't do I need to apologize for that?
I don't really answer my phone either, but nobody calls me. I got 17 contacts. You've got like...
You don't hardly answer when I call you. About every third time.
When he does, he acts like it's a bother to him.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Hello. What you doing? Oh, man, nothing. Just sitting here. What you got? I'm tired of talking already.
Is it wrong to not answer your phone and return phone calls if it's because for me, it's a burden to me. It's like it stresses me out. Like even talking I only have one good ear. I can't talk on the phone on my left ear. Really? Did you know that?
Well, I know you had a bad ear.
Yeah.
Bum
If
ear.
I put this phone up to I won't hear anything. And so, like, when I talk on the phone, it kind of gives me a headache, and it's like, it became overwhelming to me. I used to be like Chile. Nobody used to call me. Well, now, but that phone...
You're famous.
That phone never stops. It never stops. And...
Got famous.
I quit trying to keep up with it. Is that wrong, Blake? I mean, I really want to know.
I mean, I don't guess it's wrong, but you can. I mean, I don't think it's right to not talk to somebody because you don't want to talk to them because they might. I mean, it might really mean a lot for somebody to talk to you. So if you look at things from I think personally, if you don't like doing it, it's important to other people to talk to them. So, I mean, if it's me and I'm in that spot, then I think that it would really mean a lot to that person. Then I would probably set aside like however much time, either a day or a week, and just say, I'm this 30 minutes, I'm going to call some people back, and after the 30 minutes, that's all I give. But I don't know. I mean, that's a personal question, I guess. I don't think you can say it's wrong or right, but I don't.
You know, another thing that confuses me. This is the way my life is, anyways, and maybe it's because I'm a poor time manager or whatever. But it seems to me as if there are very, very few moments of my day where I'm not consumed with some task that I'm working on that I think is important. Whether it's important or not, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it could be going out and sitting in the deer stand. It could be writing this book. It could be
what's important,
hanging out with Brooke. Yeah, it's like there's no lag time in my life. Mm-hmm. And so that's another thing that for me, I haven't figured out. It's like, Blake, I do have to agree with what you said. It is, and I think you can impact people, and you should spend time talking to people and stuff like that. That's all great. But for me, it's like, then when I think about that, what you just said, which is valid, I think, where am I going to, okay, I would have to intentionally make it important and slot time out, take away from some other thing in order to make time for that.
Well, driving is a great way to do it. I mean, you at least drive to town and back from town every day. You at least go to town once a day, right?
Yeah.
So you got.
I'm listening to a podcast or something.
Well, don't listen to the podcast. I mean,
that's part of. I think that's important. I think that's important for me.
Then you got to wait. Like,
I'm telling you, man.
I mean, think about, is everything important for you? And then what is important for other people? Are you just going to take in? I mean, you do give a lot to other people in, like through the courses and events we do. So that is one way. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just something you got to figure out yourself. To me, it's important
I'm glad you're good at it.
I'm not good at it. It's just important for me to let other people know that they're important, because not answering them or ever calling them back is, it's not letting them know they're important. It's letting them know that they're unimportant. Unintentionally, but that's what you're doing. But I don't know. That's just how I used to talk to between 150 to probably 250 people a day. And so it's hard for me anymore to slow down and actually just have the conversation, even in regular conversation, because I had so many calls for 5 years. All I wanted to know is what you needed and how I could help you, and I cared nothing about the conversation. And so it's been a struggle for me to actually slow down, enjoy the conversation and the relationship for what it is, as opposed to like, hey, you're calling, you must have a need. Let me know what it is, I'll get it fixed, and then this call is over. Because that's what I did 200 times a day for 5 years. Just like, tell me what you need, I'll write it down, and it's done. I don't have time to talk about anything else. So, but if you carve out time, then you can say this just becomes to be whatever it is. But and the podcast is something. Most of the time that you give to other people is to people on a broad scale, not one-on-one. And so if you weren't doing things like the courses, the podcast, your Instagram stuff, all that's giving to people, right? You're like sharing some of your time with everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just not one-on-one time. And so I don't really think anything's wrong with it.
Is talking on the phone one-on-one time? Like, I don't like the disconnect of a phone. Like, I like talking to people in person.
Yeah, I think that's better, but on the phone, it's still undivided, you and them. It's not like they could ask you whatever you want specifically, and you would be there to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just what I think.
If you guys are listening to this, let me know if you struggle with this too. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, but I definitely don't fool with answering my phone. For whoever out there cares,
well,
know that you're not alone in that struggle.
You also don't communicate what's going on too well. Chile comes down every Wednesday, and me and Justin was going to run Thursday because I thought you was coming down Wednesday. I talked to Chadd Tuesday morning, and he said, yeah, Chile's coming down Thursday. We're starting a 5-day hunt. And I said, oh, okay. When did that happen? Oh, just this morning. And it's not, he didn't call me to share that with me. That just came up in passing. And I said, well, okay. So I messaged Justin, hey, can you do Wednesday now? Yeah, I can do it. Chadd said, we're going to record Thursday morning on the podcast, and then we're going to start hunting Thursday evening. And I said, all right. Well, Kat says, can you do this? Help me with the kids at this time? I said, yeah, we should be done with the podcast. I text Chadd, what time are we going to record tomorrow? Oh, I'll probably be sometime tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening or something. I said, what the crap, man? I thought y'all was hunting in the evening, recording in the morning. No, we ain't doing that no more. I thought, good gosh, son.
Look, man, don't.
Chadd, he acts like people don't have nothing else to do, and they're just waiting on, just like, oh, Chadd, I'm waiting on you, son. Let me know.
Yeah, look, man, this guy has about just took over the freaking podcast.
I like it.
He has just about took.
It's getting better too. You know, it hit a lull. It needed a revitalization. And Blake.
Well, look, he's got a new boom mic.
I know, Blake.
Look at this.
Blake is gonna friggin' save this podcast if we just let him talk.
Look, first of all, my response to that is you don't need to worry about what me and Chile are doing.
All right.
Me and Chile serve a unique role within the construct of this company here. I've been telling you to hire you a daggone team member that works with you. So, look, man, you don't worry about what we're doing.
How does that help me manage my time by hiring a team member? Because, could they go pick up the girls while I'm working or something?
Could. I mean...
What in the world?
If I had kids, I would let Chile go pick them up.
You're dividing our company. You're saying you and Chile are a team, and I need to hire my own team.
No, you're part of the team, but look, me and Chile do what the crap we want to do.
You don't count on me for nothing. You hear? Don't count on me for nothing.
Me and Chile do what we want to do. We do what we think is fun. Neither one of us have to work.
You would like to think that that's the way your life would go, that you do what you want, but you don't.
Oh, I do.
Look, I mean, if that makes you feel better to think that, you can think that.
The difference between me and Chile and most other people is me and Chile don't have to work.
I mean, you got to earn money somehow. You don't.
I'm retired.
Chile's he's got to work for something.
No, Chile don't have to work. He don't have to work.
I mean, I guess not. If he wanted to keep living with Jeff and them and keep driving that Mazda,
he could find a woman to take care of him.
Yeah.
I mean, Chile's a good-looking guy, man. He's got women all over the nation.
He could find
that are looking for him.
Find some woman to take care of me.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Financially.
You just said too that we serve a unique role. What is that? What is that role?
You can't even define it.
All right.
You can't even define it. So
whatever. You're sitting here trying to get some woman to take care of me.
Me and Chile.
I don't need to freaking work, dude. I do what I want. I do what I want. But
everything
you don't tell him he needs a woman. He does what he wants.
That's right. Yeah. Look, everything me and Chile do is because we want to do it. We have that luxury.
I mean, that's why I do. I mean, I'm trying to think of last time I did something I didn't really want to do. I mean, I guess computer work and stuff.
Yeah, you need to stay in here on that computer and not worry about what the crap we're doing.
All right.
What the crap are you talking about?
Hey, that will make my life so much easier. The business will likely tank, but my life would be so much easier if I didn't have to worry about what you said and you going off on your tangents and rants. And so, I mean, it's like taking the leash off your fighting pit bull in downtown Atlanta. It's like, worried about that, Chucker.
Well, speaking of what Chile and I are doing, we are starting our annual week-long hunt.
Annual?
Yep. And we are about to lay waste on some deers. We about to stack some meat, son.
Multiple deer.
We'll probably kill 4 or 5 this evening.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
4 or 5 hours.
So a lot of listeners may not know this about me, but I am a professional hunter, and so is Chile. Chile actually gets paid to hunt.
Yeah.
And he's never hunted before, but.
If he were to, he would get paid.
He's getting paid to hunt this week.
But he ain't never hunted.
The definition of a professional hunter is someone who gets paid to hunt.
As a profession.
Yeah. And so Chile is also a professional hunter. Now,
how am I getting paid to hunt? Just because
you're getting your salary this week, and your job.
That's all I'm doing.
Your job is to hunt this week.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
He's been over here complaining already this morning. I ain't gonna be able to ship them shirts out down till next week.
Well, because I have to deal with the poor people that ordered a Mandate Freedom shirt 2 weeks ago, and still ain't got it.
He's got his priorities straight.
Yeah, I'm trying to take care of the people that have spent money with us and tried to donate to a good cause.
Chile,
Jeez.
Listen, I'm this close to taking you under my wing and out from under Chadd's. I think he's fouling you up, man. I think he is fouling you up. I mean,
so we're starting a week-long hunt, annual 307 Project week-long hunt
last
this week.
Annual.
So, hunting is one of the few things in my life, hobbies or passions that stayed with me for my entire life. I remember when I was very young, I started hunting with my uncle's brother. His name was Jeff. And I would go over to Joey and Phyllis's house. That's my uncle and my aunt. And they lived in a rural area, and Joey had hunted all his life. Well, our dad or mom or whoever, we didn't have anybody else in our life that hunted. Hunting wasn't a thing in our family when we were very little, But I'd go over to Joey's, and I still remember the first hunting I ever did was coon hunting. All right, that's how I got into it. And then as I got a little older and I got old enough to deer hunt, I remember asking my dad for a deer rifle for Christmas. And I was a nervous wreck to ask for a rifle for some reason. But he bought me that Christmas a Winchester bolt-action rifle. I want to say it was a 30-06. I think it was a 30-06, black synthetic stock, Winchester bolt-action. And I had my rifle. And I'd go over to Joey's. We'd get up, me and Joey and Jake would get up in the morning. Joey had an old two-wheel drive 1978 model Ford F-150. The floorboards were so rusted out of this truck that you could see the road through the floorboard, right? And we'd get up in the morning. I remember getting up one morning and there was a meteor shower. I remember all this stuff vividly. But we'd get up, get in that old truck, and we would drive to Dickie's house. And on the way to Dickie's, there was a railroad track. And just about every morning, that train would be coming. And Joey would gun that old Ford, and he'd go around the railroad track arms, and we just barely would beat that train because we know if we got hung by the train, we'd be late to our hunting spot. And so the first year I hunted, Jeff would take me out, and Joey and Jake would go out. So we'd be on the same piece of property, but we'd be split up in different locations. Let me tell you how good of hunters we were back then. We had hunted all season, and now one of us had killed a deer.
By accident. Wasn't that the one y'all rolled up on?
Oh, no, this is where the story's going. Yeah, we hunted all season. Nobody had killed a deer.
That's how it goes.
No, that ain't how it's supposed to go. I went 3 days ago and seen 6.
How many did you kill?
I could have killed 4. I didn't kill any of them, though, because I've been waiting on our annual hunt.
Could have.
All right? Until the last day of the season. It was January 1st. That used to be the last day of the season every year. And we had gotten done with our hunt. We'd sat all morning. We hunted off the ground back then, too. We didn't have tree stands. I mean, we were old school. Walmart coveralls, on the ground, none of this scent control, none of this crap, man.
A lot simpler.
We just went out and sat on the freaking ground,
Yeah.
which is is not very effective. I mean, last day of the season, we get done with our hunt. I'm in the truck. Me and Jeff had the truck. We get in the truck. We're headed across the pasture. This place we used to hunt was a bunch of cow pastures with little bits of woods on it. And we're headed out across the cow pasture to go and pick up Jake and Joey. And we look out all the way across this cow pasture. I think it was like 200 yards or something. It was a long ways. And there's some deer. First deer I had seen.
It was like gold, wasn't it?
It was like, holy crap, there's deer. So Jeff's like, get out of the truck and shoot him. And so I jump out of the truck, man, throw this old Winchester rifle. It was a new Winchester rifle. I don't think I'd ever even shot this thing. You remember back in the day when we used to get rifles? We would just bore sight. We'd take them down to the hunting store and they would bore sight them and we would just call it good.
Yep.
We wouldn't even go out and shoot them. And so
Yep.
I throw this Winchester rifle. I'm like maybe 12, 13 years old. I don't remember exactly. I didn't have nowhere near having a driver's license or anything. I throw it over the hood of this old truck and I could barely see the deer on the other side of the field, even through the scope, right? So I found deer in my scope. Like, as soon as deer came into my scope, I pulled the trigger. Oh, right?
Fist brown is down.
I'm talking about. That was it.
Don't matter.
Didn't know where I was aiming, hitting the deer at. Didn't know what it was. I just knew it was deer in the scope. Boom. So I'm like, all right. I popped the shot off. I'm amped up, dude. We get in the vehicle. All the deer run off. We get in the vehicle, drive across the cow pasture to where I had shot at the deer. And we get out of the truck where, by this time, Joey and Jake have emerged. They heard the shot, came up to where we were at. And we're all looking. No blood, nothing anywhere. But we're still just kind of searching the area. And Joey and Jake find the deer. And we went down there. And I had hit that darn deer square in the chest. The front of the I don't know how I hit anything. But I had hit it square. That's a small target, man. The front of a deer's chest is only about a foot wide.
It's that darn bore sight you had.
That was pure luck. I hit that joker right in the chest. And there it laid, and it was a little button buck. Weighed about 70 pounds. Little button buck. But, son, you would have thought I had killed old Mossy.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of old Mossy, I used to have a DVD called Old Mossy. And it was just some hunting DVD that some guys had went out and filmed. And they didn't even kill no deer. It would just be scenes of them sitting on the ground rattling antlers. And then it would cut to some pre-roll footage of a big buck, like walking across the screen, right? And they had called him Old Mossy.
They had a song that went with it.
They had a song that went with it, and it was like the story of trying to kill. We would watch Old Mossy. I would watch it just over and over again, right? Yep. But you would have thought that I would have killed Old Mossy. And so that was the first deer. Jacob hadn't killed a deer yet. And it was last day of season. We brought, it's a huge ceremony. You bring it back. And Joey had an old set of cross ties in the backyard where you could hang the deer from. We hung the deer up. Didn't gut it. Just skinned it. Got the hind quarters and the back straps and the front quarters off. That's all you used to get off the deer. We didn't even gut them for some reason.
You didn't need to. You wouldn't. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, now I gut all my deer now. I gut them in the woods so that they're easier to drag out. You take a lot of weight out of them when you do that. And the guts don't go to waste.
yeah,
If you can gut a deer in the woods, you go back a week later, there will not be any guts.
less than that.
When I killed Big Diddy last season, we gutted him. I went back the next day to get my tree stand. The guts were gone. The whole gut pile was gone.
Well, we killed a deer on Don's land over there at the old farm he had, and gut for whatever reason. Dad suggested we gut him down at the creek.
Pollute the water source.
I was young, so we gutted it down at the creek, and he said, "Wait here with this deer. I'm gonna go get the truck." I don't know why we even gutted it, but while he went to get the truck, coyotes had come in within the time it took him to go get the truck and come down, and they were probably 50 yards on the other side of the creek bank.
Dang.
And I could shine my light and seen there's 4 or 5 of them over there had come in. Could smell it.
So that's crazy, man. That's never happened to me before.
Yeah.
That quick. I killed a deer in Virginia 2 years ago, and I drug him out to the road. It was like a woods road, right? A fire road. I drug him out to the road to get him out of the thick brush, and I gutted him right there in the road. And I left, and I went home. The next day, I got to thinking, I probably ought to go get that gut pile out of that road because it was a hunting club. So the other people driving up and down the road, I thought, man, I better get that gut pile out of the road. I didn't want people to know where I was hunting back in there anyways. That's how clubs are. If you're in a hunting club and somebody figures out you've got a spot where you're seeing a lot of deer, they'll slip on in there when they know you're not there. So I went back out there the next morning to just kick that gut pile out of the road. And I swear to you, I've never seen nothing like this. A bear had come in there and eat that gut pile, but it had given the bear a bellyache. And there was a swath of probably I'm going to say a 20-foot radius of diarrhea from that bear. Bear crap. Just like, turbilous mud bear crap you ever seen in your life. But something was in them guts that give that bear a bellyache, and he just sat there and crapped his brains out while he continued to eat the gut pile. I wish I would have had that on deer camera, man.
I mean, this is speculation that's how that went down.
Well, there was a radius of bear crap surrounding a pile of deer guts that was gone.
Picture it didn't happen.
Something happened.
You remember old? I don't even remember what we called him. That big old bear we got on camera.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That joker was a monster.
Yeah, huge.
Tell the story of your bear hunt. So, all right, Blake coming down. This place I used to hunt, I'm going to let Blake tell the story. This place I used to hunt was literally infested with bears. I mean, in the summertime, you couldn't even go in there and coon hunt at night because the bears would be so thick with cubs, they would block you from walking to your dog. And so I had got this bear on camera. This joker was probably every bit of 600 pounds. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about every bit of 600 pounds. He would have been nearly a state record. So big, his belly almost was dragging the ground. And it wasn't it was a boar. It was not a sow. You could tell by his head, and he was just huge. And so I said, Blake, you got to come up here and bear hunt with me. So he come up. Tell him about how your bear hunt went.
Yeah. Well, I think I hunted that spot about 3 or 4 mornings. Every morning I was up there. And we'd get up every morning. And I remember, because the other day I eat some, we'd get up every morning and cut us a slice of that pumpkin bread Mama made. And we'd put it on broil in the oven with a big thing of butter on top. And that would be our breakfast. And we'd go out and hunt. And I remember Chadd telling me that the mosquitoes was bad up there. And I thought, well, I've been in some bad mosquitoes. I ain't really, it don't really matter to me. And so I go up there, and they ain't that bad around this house. And I go out to walk into my stand down this thick. Chadd
had cut a lane.
He had cut a lane, and you might as well had been walking down the hallway of your house that's about 2 feet wide, because that's how thick everything was. And I had this seat pad that I was sitting on up in the ladder stand, and I get walking down that trail, and the mosquitoes are so thick, I have to close my mouth, and I can't open my eyes because a couple of them got in my eyes like a gnat would. So you got to squint your eyes like this and keep your mouth closed. And I remember getting that seat pad, and I would do a fan in front of my face, and then I could walk about 2 steps, and they would be right back on me. But you get up in the stand, and there's no mosquitoes. It's apparently there's different kinds. So the kind that were just thriving out there were the low liars. Mm-hmm. And you get up high, and they wouldn't bother you. So I get up in my stand, and I'm fine. And I'm hunting one morning. And when you're hunting, you always listen when the leaves start rustling or a stick breaks or something. But eventually you figure out, well, most of the time it's a squirrel. But I heard these leaves rustling.
I gotta hit the head while you finish this.
The leaves were rustling, and I thought, dang. I look over there and didn't see nothing. I wouldn't hear it for a second, and I'd stop. And then the leaves started rustling again. And this went on, I bet it went on for 10 or 15 minutes. And
are you not wondering what the heck? I mean,
yeah, I'm thinking like, at first I thought it was like a squirrel or a bird, they'll get in the leaves or something. And so this goes on, and I keep looking over there. I don't see nothing. And eventually something gets close enough that I think, good gosh, that's whatever's making this noise, that's what it is. And it's kind of thick, like I say. And as I start looking, all I can see is this black cloud. If you've ever watched, what's that reality show, Lost on TV? Not reality show, just TV show. There's this black cloud that goes through there. And that's what it looks like. It's this black cloud. It's about the size of a bowling ball coming through the woods. And it finally gets so close, almost up under my stand, and it's a box turtle that had trekked across the lowlands of Virginia, and it's got this swath of mosquitoes just tearing. The mosquitoes were so bad on that box turtle, I couldn't even tell what it was till it was probably 10 yards from me, and then I could see that it was a turtle.
That sounds worse than the hellhole.
It was terrible. And I did see one bear while I was up there hunting, a little young bear.
Yeah.
And I decided to hold off in hopes of...
they had to be 100 pounds or more to shoot them up there.
Yeah.
Were we bow hunting? Yeah, we were bow hunting.
No, I had a shotgun.
Okay, yeah.
But I was hoping Big Fat Nasty was going to come through there.
Boy, that joker was a terrible unit.
With his low-hanging belly.
He was a terrible unit.
You see some of them in town around here sometimes.
Hey, look, when he talks about them mosquitoes up there,
I mean...
so what had happened was a hurricane had hit. Probably about 2 weeks before Blake came up to bear hunt, and it flooded all southeastern Virginia and also northeastern North Carolina, Outer Banks and Suffolk and all those areas there. It's nothing but a big swamp. All that was a swamp. It was all part of what's called now the Great Dismal Swamp. Well, what happened was George Washington actually surveyed that swamp, all right? And they just came in there and they dug a bunch of ditches and they drained it. That's the only reason anybody even lives in that area anymore. There's no high ground. It's just a massive swamp. And the areas that people live, they're just there because the swamp has been drained to a certain extent. Now, the weirdest place in the world, there's a lake out there called Lake Drummond. And it's a natural lake. I think it's the only natural lake in Virginia. It's weird. It's just like a big sinkhole. But a hurricane had hit and flooded everything. And apparently mosquito eggs can stay, when mosquito lays eggs, they are preserved for multiple years.
Outside of water.
And then if water hits them, they hatch. My buddy worked for the mosquito people there.
That's crazy.
In Suffolk, and he told me this. So what had happened was literally years worth of mosquitoes hatched all over the course of a week. And it's just like he said, you don't believe this?
No.
But if you walked out there, you could not open your mouth or your mouth would fill with mosquitoes.
No, I mean, you think I'm exaggerating about that turtle and about walking to the stand. I ain't telling a joke. That is that's how covered up he was, that turtle was. And literally, you couldn't open your eyes or you would be trying to dig them out of your eyes.
Well, that's thicker than the hellhole.
But okay, yeah. So the hellhole, but the hellhole also has blood-sucking gnats.
Yeah.
And also has
BSGs.
Yeah. Hold up. BS. Yeah. G. Yeah.
Go on.
I mean, you could spell gnat.
How do you spell gnat?
I would spell gnat N-A-T.
Well, that would be incorrect.
And also the hellhole has killer hornets
Yeah.
living in the door of a Connex box.
Yeah.
So that's what made the hellhole so rough was it had really thick mosquitoes, not as thick as what you had, Blake.
Yeah.
But it also had blood-sucking gnats and killer hornets.
There was something else there,
all in
too.
one place. Ants.
And
ants.
In my tent. Yeah.
Oh, those ants followed us all the way to Sapelo Island. They were in our gear. And when we unpacked our gear, they were still in the gear.
They followed you or...
Well, they rode with us.
They swam.
One fast ants, fast swimmers. Right?
They rode with us all the way to Sapelo.
Oh,
Dude,
gosh.
you know, I was hunting it up there at that club, Blake. I don't know if it was that same year. It may have been the year after. But I had found this nice buck. I had honed in on him. This is the way I hunt, by the way. I just go out and hunt a broad area, and I'll hone in on a very mature buck. And then I'll hunt him until I kill him or I don't kill him. And then my season's over. But I had honed in on a good one, son. And I had seen him one time. And I probably could have shot at him. I was bow hunting. But I didn't. I didn't have the best shot in the world, and he kind of surprised me. He come up behind me. But I knew he was using that area heavy. I'm sitting up there in that stand, man. I've been hunting this buck. I turn around, and there's about a 450, 500-pound black bear standing right behind me. I heard him crunch the leaves. There he stands. I'm deer hunting. I got a bear tag. This is a trophy bear, black bear. I turn around and see this joker, and I had to make a split-second decision. Do I want to harvest this bear or not? Well, I decided to go ahead and take him on out. I turned around, drew my bow back, shot this bear, knocked him down.
What?
He knocked him down.
Shot this with a bow and arrow. Knocked him to his side.
Where'd you hit him?
And I guess I hit him in some bone or something, man.
He just seen black and he turned loose the arrow.
Hey, this bear goes down. While he's trying to get up, I put 2 more arrows in him. He eventually does get back up and goes off into some sagebrush.
With 3 arrows in him?
With 3 arrows in him. All right. He goes out into the sagebrush. This sagebrush is about 6 foot high. I have this on video, by the way. Well, when a bear expires, he lets out a death moan. It's a real thing. It's freaky sounding. Well, I heard him do that out there in that sagebrush. And so immediately after I knew this bear was down, you start calling everybody in the neighborhood because you've got a 500-pound animal on the ground and time's ticking. You got to get him out of there and get him processed. So I call everybody in the neighborhood. But within about 30 minutes, I've got 5 people up there at my stand with flashlights. It's dark at this point. And so I'm ready to go in and track this bear to where he expired at. And there's an old man up there that had come up there named Reggie. Did you ever meet Reggie, Blake?
Oh, yeah, Reggie Ross.
Reggie Ross is Hunter's dad. And Reggie was awesome, man. Awesome. Dude, just, what the world? I don't care about that camera. Reggie was kind of a legend around there. He was one of the original Desert Road crew, you know? And so me and Hunter and Brooke and Big John, we're all getting ready to go off in this sagebrush and find this. Reggie ain't going off in this sagebrush. Reggie been drinking all day by this point.
He talks about all the old times.
Oh yeah. He's just there. Well, Reggie says, "Hey, y'all sure y'all don't want to bring a shotgun in there with you?"
Yeah.
And I said, "No, Reggie, I heard the bear go down. I said, I heard it give a death moan. I said, we don't need no shotgun with us, right?" Blood everywhere. We're parting this sagebrush to the side just to walk through it. You can't see anything. It's so thick, 6 foot high. So we're just parting the sagebrush. You can see right there in front of you when you part it. Finally, I parked the sagebrush, and there that joker lays, and he's alive. And he's mad. And he gets up. And immediately when I parted it and I saw him laying there looking at me and he starts to get up, I just yell, "Run." And at that point, it's every man for himself. I've got Brooke in there. I've got Hunter in there, John and me, and everybody just scatters, just runs for their lives. And this bear gets up and literally starts coming after us.
After one of you, probably.
You can't see him, but you can hear him busting through this sagebrush coming in your direction. Finally, we get out from around him, and he beds back down, I assume, and we get back out to the vehicles, and we're like, "Oh, that joker's still alive, man." And we got to go back in there on him and get him. So I took Reggie up on his offer for a shotgun.
That wasn't Reggie's first time getting a bear. He knew what you should have done.
So Reggie hands me an old Remington Model 870 with a slug in it.
Bear buster.
A bear buster, yeah, sure enough. Them old 12-gauge slugs are bad to the bone.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, well, we got to go back in on this joker. Now he's moved. We don't know where he's at. But we get back on his blood trail all the way back up to where we had found him laying the first time. Of course, he's gone. We pick up the new blood trail, follow him in, and I park the sagebrush again, and there he's sitting, waiting on me. I immediately throw that shotgun up and put one of those slugs right behind his front shoulder, and he couldn't tote that. I mean, point blank. He couldn't get back up after that.
No.
And I sure am glad he didn't, because I was right there on top of him, son.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is why we hunt, man.
Well, I got a question. Since you shot him, so you were bow hunting, and then you had to finish him off with a
gun.
That a lot of people get bent out of shape about that, don't they?
Well, down there, the bear season, you can bear hunt with a shotgun. So that wasn't illegal. Now, that wasn't a bow kill.
Right, it's not.
It was a shotgun kill. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could have let the bear lay in there and die. He would have died after, as much as he was bleeding. It wouldn't have took him long to die. But I'm not about letting animals suffer. If I know that animal's in there and he's hurt, I'm going to go in there and put him down.
Well, and if you let him die, I mean, how long would he have just laid there then? And then daggone meat, you don't get none of it.
Well, as long as he's alive, the meat is preserved.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you waited on him to die, what are you going to do? Sit?
Well, you'd have gave him an hour or so
Yeah.
and went in there on him. Yeah, but that was a wild hunt, man.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we'll have plenty of, hopefully after this annual hunt we're going to host here. I don't even know if y'all like to listen about hunting stories on this show.
Well,
So there might not even be anybody listening to this anymore.
might be crickets, huh?
We might just be talking to nobody right now.
Well,
Is that why you asked if we wanted to record this?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Hey, y'all want to record this? Well, I thought that's why we do it.
Oh man. Well, I don't know. It'll be. I think we'll get some good stories out of it.
Yeah. Oh, I want to tell y'all real quick about Xoskin. Hey, Xoskin is the company, the one company that supported this podcast from the very beginning, which is why when Croy calls me and says, "Hey man, I want you to put some word out for me on the podcast," I say, "Roger that, man," because they've been here with us and for us since day one. Xoskin actually sent me out a bunch of gear to use for my running adventures before anybody knew who I didn't even have social media. Nobody even knew who I was. And they did it because they are good Americans and they appreciated my service. So they were doing it because I was a veteran. And that's just the type of company they are. They go through the extra effort to make sure that everything that they make is made from the ground up in America. Materials, production, assembly, whatever you want to call it, it's all made in America. And we appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
We understand how much of a challenge that can be.
Yeah.
And they do it. I don't know of any other company that manufactures fitness apparel. It's 100% made in America. Maybe there is one. I don't know of it, but we appreciate that. So Croy hit me up and told me to let you guys know that they have a holiday sale going on. Actually, right now, started November 1st and ends December 31st. Shirts and shorts, regardless of the type, are 30% off. All their tights are 40% off. It's getting pretty chilly out, so the tights aren't a bad thing to be buying right now. All socks are 25% off. Underwear, T-shirts, and hats are 20% off. If you order over $95 worth of gear, you get a free pair of Exo toes while supplies last. Customers should add a note to their order indicating what size, style, and color of stock they want. We will do our best to give them their preferred choice. So, this is no coupons needed to get these sale prices. They apply to in-stock items. Yeah, it's a pretty dang good deal.
Runs for 2 months.
Well, from, I guess so. November 1st to December 31st. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a significant discount there. So, awesome, man. So, what I'm going to do here to support Xoskin, because I love them so much, and they've supported us for so long, and I just love their gear. Like, if you want to, we have plenty of companies reach out to us and send us free gear all the time.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the whole social media thing. It's a byproduct of it. And people send us free gear. I am not going to promote your gear just because you send me free gear. Mm-hmm. Like, I have to be in alignment with the mission of your organization. That's important to me. Like, if you're going, like, is your stuff made in America? That means a lot to me. Like, and you also have to have top quality gear, because I don't care how much you want to support me or how much you want to pay me or how much free stuff you want to give me. If your gear sucks, I'm not going to use it, because I can just go out and buy the gear that I actually want to use. Mm-hmm. So we use Xoskin gear. So I'm going to actually do a review for you guys on a different piece of Xoskin gear for the next few episodes. We've got beanies, we've got socks, we've got tights, we've got shorts, underwears. I'm going to do a specific quick review for each one of these products on the episodes. Right here, I have the socks. These are the Exo toes, the toe socks. All right, you guys have heard me talk about these dang toe socks, hopefully, before. And I talk about them because these are the best socks I have ever worn in my life. I have a pair of these toe socks that are 3 years old. Like, and I run in them. Like, I'm not talking about, I don't just wear these to the office. I run in them. They're 3 years old and they don't have any holes in them. Where else you going to buy a pair of dang socks that last for 3 years of hard use? Right? These specific ones right here are the anklet toe socks. So these are the lowest ones you can buy. I prefer these anklet toe socks if I'm doing road running, or if I'm doing running on some maybe nicer trail that's not super muddy, or, you know, if I'm not running through tall grass or anything. The anklet socks to me are more comfortable than the Cruise or the higher socks that you can buy. I absolutely love them. Now, if I'm on some nasty trail or maybe wintertime or something like that, I'm going to go with a higher length sock just so stuff doesn't get down in my sock. But as far as comfort goes, man, it's hard to beat these anklet socks. All their toe socks have the same type of fabric and build and quality, right? It's just the difference in the height. So these are the anklets. I love them. If you don't buy anything else from Xoskin, buy the dang socks, man. I'm here to tell you, they are the best, bar none. And I know some of you guys might be weird about toe socks. They do take a minute to get used to, but once you get used to wearing them and you realize how much they prevent blisters between your toes and how much they protect your feet and allow you to spread your toes out in your shoe, I mean, it's just the way to go, without a doubt. It's like a glove that just forms over your entire foot. So Xoskin freaking toe socks are awesome. Guaranteed skin comfort, friction management. Yes, they do manage friction very well. Rapid wicking and drying, odor control. Yeah, that's another thing. We'll go into that as we review some more. But check them out, man. Xoskin.us. I'll attach a link to their website in the show notes of this episode along with a pro code. Although you're not going to need the pro code because this sale they're running is legit.
Well, yeah. Can they combine the offers? Can they
I don't
use
know.
the pro
Try
code
it.
still? Yeah.
Try it.
Try it.
Try to use the pro code. You might get 60% off some stuff. That'd be a heck of a deal. Anyways, this is it. That's Xoskin.
Let me tell you about the GoFundMe.
Oh, it shut down.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at it today. It said this organization is no longer taking donations.
Well, I deleted it because they sent an email and said, luckily we don't have any funds in there. It said,
You got them all out?
yeah, it said your funds are now on hold. And I thought, what the crap? So I go in there. There's no funds in there to be on hold. We had,
Thank goodness,
one donation that was withdrawn. So I quickly deleted the thing because I didn't want people, because we could still receive funds. If someone wanted to donate, we just, GoFundMe could receive them. We couldn't. And it said, we're unsure about how you are connected with your donors, and we need more information about this. So I just type in, I didn't want to look up the link. I type in GoFundMe mandate freedom to try to find our link in Google. And it pulls up a bunch of links about where GoFundMe has deleted vaccine relief
Yeah.
things.
Well,
and
they're
I
taking
thought,
them
well,
down.
there we go. So I just went and deleted it off because I didn't want people to donate money and us not be able to get it because they don't agree with why we're collecting money. And so I may set up that one.
Give, send, go?
Yeah, Give, Send, Go. It's a Christian money collection organization for donations that they don't even take no percentage. When you give, if you want to give to support Give, Send, Go, that's how they get their money from donators donating to them. So I may set up one of those, but anyways, I just wanted to say that.
this beats
it's
all
no
I've
longer-
ever seen. It's literally boggling my mind. PayPal is doing to this. We have stopped using PayPal.
Yep.
I don't know what the deal with PayPal. I don't know who is pulling the strings behind PayPal. This makes no sense to me because if PayPal was a private company, you would think that they wouldn't care how much money you moved as a legitimate business. We've entered all of our information into PayPal. Business license number, tax ID number. They have everything that sees we are a legitimate business and we've chosen their platform to collect payment, right? Well, they have, over the course of a few months, really probably 6 months, multiple times frozen our account for sometimes up to like 20 or 30 days.
Yeah.
To where we can't access the money that is rightfully ours, that we have charged for whatever the product is. And so we've stopped using them. And I'm like, why would you do this? Like, PayPal, you're making a freaking killing off of us.
Yeah.
You're making thousands of dollars off of us just for us using your platform, and you've ran us off because you're putting a hold on
Our money.
our income.
What, did they ever say why they were doing that?
Yeah.
No,
I talked to them. They said it's to protect the buyer and the seller, that if something were to go wrong, if basically, I think they do it when they see inconsistencies in how much you're bringing in or the amount, and they say if something were to go wrong, they're going to hold that money to make sure that nothing goes wrong, and if it does, then they'll pull out of that.
To make it right with whatever.
Yeah. So basically, but because PayPal offers this guarantee, but that's not even legitimate. If they're offering the guarantee, then if something goes wrong and they've guaranteed it'll go right, then it's on them to make it go right.
No, it's on you.
I know, but if someone screws
No,
PayPal over and they've offered that,
I know. I'm saying they're gonna say it's on you.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna pull from those funds, not our funds.
but that's not. I mean, that's just a total illogical reason. It's just I don't know why they would hold it, but that's the dumbest reason I could think of.
Well, they got to track it. I mean, they have to figure out where that money's coming from and where it's going.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, there's something weird going. There's something weird going on with that crap.
yeah.
And this GoFundMe, it's freaking. They've canceled us. We've been canceled. But that's all right. You can't cancel me, son. What y'all don't understand is I will continuously bring the full spectrum of my knowledge, my skills, my ability to bear in order to push back against the freaking crap that is working to cancel me. I will never stop. You will not stop me. And so I will win. Which is why I'm writing this book. I was telling Chile today, I said, you know what's really nice about this book? As I open my email this morning and see that GoFundMe has canceled us, and, you know, I look at my social media page, Chile calls it shadow banned. It's been, my social media page has been shadow banned. My stories on social media, Instagram, literally went from 20,000+ views to 3,000 to 4,000 views.
I get that.
Yeah. Look, I can make a post. It's crazy how obvious it is. You can make a post that shares some opinion that's outside the parameters of political correctness, and it gets zero interaction other than from the people that have set notifications to be notified when you make a post, right? And then you can make some silly post that's within the parameters of the cultural agendas, and it'll get. I made a post yesterday, and like thanking our female team members for being the awesome leaders that they are. That video had like 10,000 views within a couple hours.
That's what they wanted to promote.
That's what that's what they wanted to promote. You everything on there is being censored and controlled. And the beautiful thing about this book I'm writing is it can't be censored.
Yeah.
Once we print this thing, the only way it could be censored if we could not, if some reason we couldn't find a company to print it for us, well, I would just go buy whatever equipment I needed to print a book with at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, but it can't be censored. Once we print it, what's in it goes out, goes forth.
We'll round them up and burn them.
Oh, yeah.
Book burning.
We hadn't started burning books yet.
There's a book about that, isn't there?
Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah.
I've read that. How about that?
Yeah.
Get you some.
You know, that I love this book I'm writing too because, man, it was so hard for me. I don't know if ever I'll write a book about my story in my life. Mm-hmm. It just has never gotten to the point where it just feels right. It just something about it doesn't feel right, but this feels right. It does. I had the thought. I can only attribute it to the Holy Spirit. I felt in my mind, in my heart, something say, write this book that I'm writing. And I didn't want to write it because it's hard, man. And I think, I don't know what's gonna, when we do put it out, it's gonna, I don't know what the response to it's gonna be. I didn't want to even take that on, right? I just didn't want to take it on. The Holy Spirit kept saying, write it. And I kept putting it off. And finally, the Holy Spirit said, okay, I'll find somebody else to do it. This was very clear to me in my mind. Say what you want. I'm just telling you how this was going in my heart, right? And when I felt that sense of, okay, I'll find someone else to do it, I thought, dang, I really want to be the one to do this. Then I started it. But it's beautiful to me. The most beautiful thing about it is it can't be censored, which I think is pretty awesome. What do you think, Chile?
Well, what you're talking about in the book, I like to talk about all that stuff and I like to talk about everything, but I've had this feeling lately of I'm getting increasingly disenchanted with conversations that pertain to the material. I can't figure out if that's the right word to use or not. The material, the dealings of the physical realm. Mm-hmm. I'm just about sick of it.
That's how I've always been. And people say I don't talk much, whatever. But if you're not talking about, to me, those things don't matter. And if you're not talking about what matters, I just don't care to talk about it.
Well, I know. I think they matter, but it's like I'm getting to the point where things are so dramatically, to say bad, they've always been bad. They're shifting in my life. They're and my perspective is the only thing that I have. My reality is the only thing that I have. My life is changing more than it ever has. And it's like, man, I want to spend my mental energy on things that have eternal significance.
Yeah.
It's like we spend all day debating things like taxes and what the tax percentage should be, and immigration and whatever the buzzwords are, whatever the political topics are of the day. When the presidential election comes around, and what's going to be on the 5 to 10 bullet point list of, we got to hit immigration, we got to hit taxes. It's like, I'm so sick of even talking about that crap, because guess what? There ain't an answer to none of it.
Well, yeah.
And the eternal significance of some of that is just not even freaking worth it. And part of that, I disagree with even me saying that, because this stuff is important. I mean, we live in this world right now. So
but you've got to fix other things first.
It's like we've got to fix the greater stuff first.
Yeah.
It's like, if we don't figure out this stuff that actually has eternal impact and significance, we're definitely not going to be able to figure out none of this minor crap. I mean, it's like you're not going to come up with the right, I don't know, but.
Well, it's the parable of building your house on the rock or the sand, right? Like, we're building a house on the sand right now. We're worried about the construction of the house and it's how nice it is, but
it's on sand.
It's on sand, so what's it really matter?
I don't know. I can slip into this, but one thing that I've been thinking about lately, and this is my legitimate perspective, it's that these issues, the what's going to be on the list during a presidential debate, those just 5 to 10 bullet points that they've got to hit, and they're going to ask them an unspecific question about, and they're going to give a broad, unnuanced answer. It's like, I think all of those topics are literally just to placate the masses.
Oh, yeah.
To get whipped up in a frenzy. So you have a good divide here. Like, the left thinks this about immigration and taxes and all of it, and the right thinks this, and they going to fight it out while Republicans and Democrats are the same freaking people. They're the same people, man. All these people, they get so caught up in Republicans and Democrats, and thank God Virginia just elected a Republican governor. Who freaking cares?
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, that Ralph Northam guy he was an evil. I mean, he literally talked about killing babies after they're born. He did. But like, these Republicans and Democrat politicians, man, they're the same people. They all operate in the same way.
You out? All right.
Doing the same things behind the scenes, man. They've got the same goals. It's just to enrich themselves, make billionaires, trillionaires, the people that run the world. I mean, that's my perspective. And like Nancy Pelosi and Lindsey Graham, you think they hate each other? It's a Democrat and Republican. They hate each other. They disagree on so many things. No, they don't. They both agree that they want to try to make themselves more rich and powerful. That's point blank. This stuff is just side issues that Lindsey Graham's going to say he's going to take a conservative position on stuff, and she's going to take a progressive position on it, and they're going to yik-yak in public and act like they hate each other and everything else, while they're both just getting rich behind the scenes, screwing everybody over. That's how it works. That's my perspective. Could be wrong. A lot of people, they really buy into all this.
Oh, I'm in agreement 100. I mean, with this latest election thing, I've been seeing it all over social media, like what a grand victory for the state of Virginia and this and that. I'm like, are you freaking serious, man? Like, okay, the book I'm writing goes into the root of all this.
Yeah,
much because what you're saying is true. Also, from my perspective, is that all we are doing is clinging to the debris. We're just clinging to little pieces of debris that are falling off of this massive ball of crap. You're clinging to crap debris, and these issues that we're discussing, and they're just debris. And people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, I hope you're going to present solutions." Oh, I have a solution.
Yeah.
I have a most beautiful solution. It is the Bible calls the Word of God the perfect law of liberty. All right? Let me read you something real quick. I copy and pasted this. I forget who wrote this. I'm sorry. I don't have the author of this. But here's just a quick snapshot of what the law of God asks for us to do as a culture, as a society, whatever. The Bible requires work, frugal living, and honest dealings. It mandates impartial justice, sound money and property rights, plus it endorses liberty and a limited government. All the essential elements of capitalism. Christ even used free market principles repeatedly in his teaching. Jesus clearly appreciated price signals and their role of incentives. The parables of the talents and the minas offer sage investment advice. It is prudent to entrust resources to those multiplying them and extract resources from those squandering them. This counters the Marxist principle of progressive taxation, taking from the most productive to subsidize those wasting scarce resources. But Jesus used these essential lessons to illustrate spiritual truths, not finances. All right. That's the thing about that when we go down this topic in the book, where we look at the application of God's kingdom law and how it applies to culture and government and civil life, we have. I want you to understand something, and I'm going to try to make this very clear in the book, that I'm not saying that we should use God's kingdom law in Scripture as a stepping stone to achieve some perfect society. What I'm saying is God's kingdom law in Scripture is the only solution. It's not a stepping stone. It just is. It's like when God called, it's like, this is a chapter in my book. It's like when God called himself, he was trying to describe himself in Scripture, and he said, I am that I am. He just is. The kingdom law in the Bible, it just is. It's not a stepping stone. It is the only solution. And that's my stance on it. And again, I'll go into more detail on this in the book. But I think when we start to off, you ask me for what is the solution to all these things. It's like, well, okay, how about we actually apply the precepts of the Bible to all aspects of our life and civilization, and we're going to screw it up. There's never been a perfect nation on earth. We're going to screw it up. But that's the only answer I have for you, man. There's nothing that we will encounter as a civilization that isn't hashed out within the precepts of the Bible. All right, that's my continual answer throughout the book, and again, the book will illustrate it in a much more defined way. But
well, I mean, I think, well, when you say that, when you say there's, I wouldn't, if I reworded it here, I would get it wrong, or if I restated it, I wouldn't say it how you just said it. But you said, I think there's issues popping up today with how. That like, obviously the Bible doesn't specifically address them.
Yeah, it's not going to.
So that's what's difficult.
It's not going to address the specific whatever
right.
the issue is, but the precepts will tell you how to react to that specific problem that the nation or the culture or the person is facing in the proper manner. Right?
Well, you talk about the solution. People. Yeah, I think what's worth saying about that, and from my perspective too, is like when people want solutions to certain things, that's what's hard for me is we've acknowledged that there isn't any to make things perfect on earth. Like it never will be. Like we're never gonna come up with a solution that will last forever. Other than what you're talking about, like. That will never fully be adopted. I mean, that's the thing. This is going to end bad. Or not bad. I mean, it will ultimately just end. I mean, we've talked about it a million times. We're buying time.
Oh, yeah, that's all. Every time, every reset is just buying time. And there is a quote that we, especially in the SEAL teams, we lived by in a certain sense. And the quote is, a lot of you guys have heard it, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And that's kind of why I am the way I am, man. It's like, because I do see the logic in, what you say, Chile, is like, why you even freaking fool with this crap, man? Yeah. Like, I see that, man. But
it's hard not to get that way. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah, and it's like, but like that complacency and it's essentially submission is what has to happen. Yeah, for evil to triumph. So as difficult as it is, as much as I would rather spend my time doing other things that I enjoy, I feel a responsibility. As a child of God, to take action.
Well, something does stir within me that compels me to act, to do something too. That like whenever it seems more logical to just be like, screw it.
Yeah.
Sometimes even it seems more logical. It's obviously easier, but it even seems like, well, if this is not going to end well, logically I'm gonna just throw my hands up. But something like I can't do it. So, you just got to keep fighting. I mean, in whatever way you know how. But the guiding principle that can be applied to the solution to anything is to love God and to love your neighbor as yourself. That really is the best way to sum it up. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just is. That is the best way to sum up the solution to any problem. Mm-hmm. Ultimately. Now, that doesn't tell you exactly how to walk things out and do specific things, but that is what we're supposed to do.
The interesting thing is, right, and we had this conversation on our run this morning. I do understand the concept of love your neighbor.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But right now...
That's misapplied.
Right now, like, it's not my neighbor that I feel compelled to push back against. Like, right. My neighbor's not trying to... I love my neighbor. Like, so that love thy neighbor argument or commandment...
Which we fully agree with.
How, like... That is brought up so often when it comes to the conversation within the body of Christ of like, what is our role in pushing back against this tyrannical pagan, organization that is America and American culture? Like, can I push back against them and still love my neighbor? Like,
yeah.
Okay. So stop bringing that up and using it as your excuse to be lazy and complacent in the face of blatant evil.
Right. Why that becomes like the go-to line whenever you talk about. I mean, you don't even have to take it as far as some kind of a rebellion against the U.S. government, but just any kind of pushback. People are like, they bring that up.
Oh, every time.
I mean, we're talking about two different things here. Like, what do you mean? When we talk about pushing back in this way, and people bring up loving your neighbor, well, how am I not doing that? I mean, what about me wanting to push back to the evil agenda that I see being carried out somehow nullifies the fact that I'm loving my neighbor?
Well, sometimes I wonder if when you say love thy neighbor, what does that imply? Like, what does that actually look like? So loving your neighbor or your fellow citizen or something like that, does that imply tolerance, forgiveness? I think it, and this is one part that I really I struggle with in writing the book is, Jesus Christ himself commands us to forgive other people, right? To forgive other people because he forgives us every second of every day just for the nature of our existence. And that's a commandment that we have. Now, am I obligated to forgive nations, organizations, governments for their evil deeds? And so it's a hard topic because just like Chile brought up this morning, what is a, say, let's use the word organization to just imply any organization, whether it's a government, the government of a nation, or a certain sect of culture or something like that, a business, like, let's just use the word organization. So that organization is made up of people, okay? The organization as a whole is the thing, the collective thing that is pushing the evil agenda or the wickedness. Do I have to forgive that organization and continue to allow them to exist? Am I commanded to do that? I haven't really searched the depths of Scripture to know for a fact, but how does this even apply to my life now? Well, it's applicable because I'm looking at America. By the way, it's hard for me to write this book because of the way I have to use America. America is my home. Like, it's hurtful to use that name in place of some of these indictments. And so, should I just forgive America and just move on, or should it be dismantled? And here's the thing with this: we say the organization is composed of people. Well, once the organizational aspect is dismantled, right, and they no longer have power to push their agenda, the individuals that are left, the individual people that are left in the wake of that,
can be forgiven.
Like
that's
right.
I'm sitting here listening to you. Like, why can we not dismantle organizations and forgive people? You're talking about.
I feel like I can.
Well, I mean, you're talking about like forgiving the organization. I mean, I brought up the point. What is an organization other than a group of people? But when you talk about it in that light, you can't forgive an organization. It's just an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, an organization, if you, broadly speaking, not broken down to the individuals that comprise it, is just an idea. There is no forgiving it or not forgiving it. It's like an inanimate object. It's not real. What's real is the people that make it up. You can forgive them.
That's right.
I mean,
yeah, and so where I'm struggling with this is in my own attachment and identity with America.
The idea of
the America, the nation. So like for me to maintain an attachment to America, that means that I have to forgive America for what America has done.
America didn't do anything. The people that made up America did it. I mean, the attachment that I have to America is of the ideals of America. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Is the word America still a representation of that, though? Of those ideals?
We tainted it.
Is it stained too deeply to be washed away?
See, some of these issues, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's very symbolic. Like if you were to, like you said, tear down America and rebuild it.
Restructure everything.
And you still called it America. Like that is very symbolic.
That's what I'm saying.
And emblematic of what has been done. But like...
It's interesting to me because I use the I guess comparison with Germany. What comes to mind when you think of Germany? Everybody immediately thinks Hitler and the Holocaust. There's the example of a nation whose wickedness was so horrendous that the name of the nation was stained so deeply that it literally should have just been trashed. I don't know why the crap they kept the name. But you know, and I put that in the book. That's in the book, and I know what's going to come out. People are going to say, "How can you compare America to Germany during World War II? How can you compare that?" The evil that is conducted under the watchful eye of America is immeasurable. I don't even. The statistics will be in the book, but
it's not in the public eye as much.
Yeah, how many millions of unborn children have been murdered under the watchful eye of America? How many millions have died in the last 2 years under the... Look, this is a whole nother issue. I think that it is a plausible, very plausible thing. And I think that there is also hard evidence that America is responsible directly for everything that's happened in the last 2 years. They developed a weapon. They released it in a very timely manner and literally caused like immeasurable amounts of death and grief and destruction.
The people that don't... I mean, listen.
How do you even... Like, you can't hold an individual responsible for that. You have to hold it's the organization that's responsible for that. It's groups of people that are you know, that make up this organization, but I can't. I mean, how do you put somebody on trial for that,
dude?
I'm putting the nation on trial for that.
Well, you know, a year and a half ago, when Trump got in trouble for calling it the China virus, I thought that was ridiculous that he got in trouble for that. But what was I telling you and other people a year and a half ago? Well, we should. It's ridiculous that he's getting in trouble for that, but we ought to call it the U.S. China virus because we fund the same crap. The biological weapons research. We violate the U.S. Biological Weapons Code all the time. That was written. I mean, Francis Collins and Dr. Fauci. I mean, just if anybody would do any bit of research, they would understand that all of this crap is not what it is globalism is a real thing, and it's what's ruining America. Really. Is what it is. It's the rejection of nationalism and the adoption of a global system that is being ushered in. I mean, it just is. You can watch it. I think it's more evident to people now that it's being ushered in, and it's basically all that is. People call you a conspiracy theorist if you say globalism. It's a concept of a one world government. And we are buying into it. It's a very slow process, but that is coming. I promise. And
it's just been prophesied. It's been written.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm predicting that or anything, but like it's so amazing to watch it being played out about the unification of different countries. And people think that sounds so great. They hear that and they go, oh, that's great. Global peace and cooperation amongst all the countries. And it's like, yeah, well, that is a good thing if that's how it looked. It don't look like that, man. No. We've got one world oppressive government over everything, over the entire globe, no matter where you live, no matter where you're at. And that'll result in...
It's going to look good for about 3.5 years.
Oh, it ain't... Well, it's just... That is coming, and it's happening all the time with the UN, United Nations, and everything else. I mean, but... Yeah, that is why these things are being carried out. And that's just what it is. But I don't know. That's why America is rapidly decaying, because of the buying into that evil agenda. That's what I believe. Like, not that nationalism is the be all end all. Like, I think federal government in and of itself is not a good thing, and so many people disagree with me on that, and it needs to be decreased. I say it all the time, in size and scope as much as possible. So basically, you the broadest you could think of is a global government, one world government. Okay, then what we have now is a little smaller, right? It's nations across the globe. It's about however many countries there are. I don't even know, 200. And then a better thing would be break it down into smaller countries and states like we have. Okay, and then you break it down even smaller, and then it's cities and counties. Okay, and then you break it down even smaller into little tight-knit communities. Mm-hmm. That's how things are essentially, quote-unquote, governed. Mm-hmm. The smaller you can get it, the better people's lives are, because they have less top-down.
All the way down to the family.
All the way down to the family.
Yep.
That's it. So the smaller we can get, I mean, that's my goal. That would be my goal in a restructuring of America, is to have government at every level as small as possible. All the way, and the higher you go, eradicate it as much as possible.
Yeah.
That's the best form of it. Essentially, the best form of government is to not have one at all. But things break down and anarchy ensues, and that doesn't really work or either, over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, keeping it as small as possible is the way to do it.
We talked about that this morning on the run. We talked about how we talk about the United States, mm-hmm. right? Well, within the United States, we have a state like Georgia, let's say. Georgia has a completely different cultural system. It has completely different values. It has a completely everything.
Certain parts of Georgia.
Certain parts of Georgia, right? Or a state like, or Tennessee, or right, than a state like California. So why should the citizens of Georgia be tied in and united with a common destiny of a state such as California? And we talked about on the run this morning how you could essentially, which is not far off at all from the original idea of America, you have independent states, but instead of states, the state becomes its own country. It creates it's in charge of its own defense and industry and everything, right? And then you have regional alliances with other countries.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you get looked at like you're treasonous for saying this, but I mean, I like it.
But what's hard about this is for that to happen, you've got to let go of your attachment to America. And that's hard for me, man, because I served America. Like, it's my home. That's why I'm telling you, it's so hard to write this stuff out, man.
Well, and that's different from me, like your background, and that's why I'll never be able to see it like you see it. But to me, I've always thought of it as like, you're going to separate and detach yourself from the idea of America now. America hadn't always been like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It ain't always been like this.
That's right.
I mean, like you said, getting back to more about what it was founded, well, that's it.
That's really what it was meant to be. The United States, each state was an individual entity.
And I can't speak for you, but I think that's the America that you're more attached to.
Yeah.
Not attached to this one.
Yeah.
And when I say this one, I mean the state of things, how they are now. Mm-hmm. I mean, what would, you were more attached to that, the idea that hadn't been corrupted yet fully.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. But to me, that's a step away from that global one world government too. It's like if you broke down America into even smaller.
Yeah.
And.
Well, these are the types of issues that I'm trying to tackle in this book.
Yeah.
Are you going to write some commentary in the book?
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. I just didn't know if you'd be interested in writing some commentary in there for the people.
Well, I could read it and endorse it, or maybe not.
Well, I mean, we'll see. We may have some of Chile's penned ideas in there. I mean, since it can't be censored, we can have Chile write some stuff in there for y'all if y'all want him to.
I probably don't even need to write anything. I'll just go pick up some of the old ancient records I've got scribbled down somewhere.
Well, daggone, we went way over time in this podcast. We're at an hour and a half.
That's all right. Blake had to check out.
Yeah, Blake, as soon as we started talking about whatever worldly issues, Blake just rolled on out on us.
Checked out.
Good gosh, he should have known better than that.
Yeah.
Well, we could go on for another 5 hours here if we wanted to.
Yeah, we could talk about this stuff forever. May not ever get nowhere with it, but you really can talk about it forever because I think that's why I like that you are writing something about it, because that way it's just on paper. Here's some thoughts, not complete thoughts about it. Like you're never done thinking about it.
You could never unpack the layers of this in this book. You could never. It's impossible. And the scary thing about the book is also so if I was writing a book that told a story,
there's an end.
That would be easy. Yeah, because there's an end. The story is what it is. If you're being truthful about how you remember the story, that's not going to change. But this is so scary because you're hitting these issues like we've just been discussing here, and perspective on these things is liable to change.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And when it's in a book, it's a great responsibility. So I don't know. It's definitely. I guess I can see now why I was putting it off in my mind for so long. But I'm only 5,000 words into this thing, a little over, I think. But I have no parameters on length, because this will obviously have to be self-published. There would not be a publisher on earth that will touch the contents of this book. I mean, nowhere. We could pay them to publish the book, and they wouldn't publish it with their name on it. But anyhow, I have no parameters on how long or short it needs to be. I'm just going to rely on the Holy Spirit to let me know when it's enough.
Yeah, and it's your perspective at the time of writing it. Like if you're worried about perspective or not, you think about your perspective possibly changing. I would actually expect it would, at least minorly on certain things.
Oh, 100%.
But
if you're worried about that, I mean, this is similar to the podcast.
Oh yeah.
That why doesn't what holds a lot of people back from doing a podcast is because you can't possibly hit every angle. You can't possibly hit every perspective. All you have is yours in that moment on that day, and you put it out and it's recorded, and it is what it is.
And you may not like what you said the next day.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
It's just it's the risk. It's the risk that you take. But if all we did was consume ourselves with the anxiety that comes along with that risk, well, nobody would ever say anything.
No, that's true.
So, well, we got to wrap it up, guys. It's time to start this daggone annual hunt. Enough said.